In today's Leeds news, work on the Elland Road development, Piroe incentive by national team manager, no desire to sell Tanaka, Howard steps up for England, and rumour mill on Souffian El Karouani. Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Thursday, the 26th of March with your Leeds United news. Jer here. We've got a watch along over on bigup.com tonight for the Ireland World Cup playoff game. Fingers crossed we can get a strong result in that and give us a chance to go into next week and have another crack at trying to make the World Cup. Also, we will cover the England game tomorrow night as well over on bigup.com. You can check us out over there if you want to do that. If you don't, no big deal. But if you do fancy it, we'll be over there for about half an hour before kickoff tonight and again tomorrow night. Also, you can check out okjersey.com. We've got a partnership with them. 8% off if you use our code in your checkout for already discounted shirts for World Cup shirts for a World Cup summer. We've got a bit of stuff to get stuck in today, some academy updates as well as some more detail around the work at Elland Road. We'll start off with that one as work has continued over the past couple of days at Elland Road. Leeds look like they're taking absolutely full advantage of the international break and the fact that we've got an away game in the FA Cup and an away match against Manchester United in Old Trafford to get as much of the groundwork done on the Elland Road redevelopment as they possibly can. Leeds' next home game isn't until the 18th of April, so Leeds are taking that time right now to speed up the work on the north and on the west stand at this point. There are loads of images that have come out in the last couple of days. You can see some of them on screen right now to show how intensive the work is now over the last couple of days. It's gone from being a couple of holes in the ground to full on scale groundwork. Now there will be porta cabins and some hospitality going in there temporarily as well as they start work on the west stand first, but it's a major and important step in getting the Elland Road Stadium to where they wanted to get it to, and they're not hanging around the owners in this situation. The initial work wasn't supposed to start until the end of the season in May, and we were all told we'll believe this when we see shovels in the ground. Well, there's diggers, there's cement trucks, there's shovels, there's everything in the ground at this point, so this is very much underway. But the redevelopment isn't just good news for fans who want to get in to see Leeds United games to increase the atmosphere and the attendance of the ground. It's also really good news for employment in the area as well. The work alone from the construction perspective is expected to help with employment, but also once it's all done and dusted, it's expected to create jobs for hospitality in the restaurants and bars that will be in the surrounding area, but also match day staff as well. So a boost not just for Leeds United fans, but also for the area as well. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated on the redevelopment work. We'll move on. Joel Piroe has only started 2 Premier League games for this season, but in contrast, he has started far more FA Cup matches this year than he has in the Premier League, and he might even get another start against West Ham United after this international break. But he is off on international duty right now, and his current situation isn't a worry for his new national team manager, Henk ten Kate. Piroe is away, as I say, on international duty right now and enjoying his first taste of international football. And his manager was asked about his current situation at Leeds United and if it makes an impact, and he had the following to say about it. He does not play regularly for Leeds, but he is at a club at the very highest level. The English League is by far the strongest in the world, and it can happen that you end up on the bench. And I've told Joel that he has to work really hard, and when his chance comes, you have to seize it. He did that against Norwich. He played a very good game and scored a very important goal. We all know the current situation around Joel Piroe. He's got to assess his own future with the club come this summer. And from a Leeds perspective, Leeds have been linked and expected to go for another striker this year. So it does feel, at least on paper, that the writing is possibly on the wall in this situation. But things can change if Leeds don't get the offer they want for Joel Piroe. You never know, he might stay around. If he decides he wants to stay at Leeds and Leeds aren't in a rush to move him on, then we'll see what happens. But given the lack of minutes that he's had in the Premier League this season, and given that Leeds will want to be strengthening that bench and giving more competition for starting players' places as well in the side next season, you would imagine Joel is one of the ones that will move on. But we're really hopeful that he has a really, really good experience with Suriname during his international break. He's been fantastic for Leeds, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck on his international debut. Keep an eye on that, and we'll give you the update on that when we get it as well. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer for Joel Piroe and something we're going to have to keep a close eye on. But we'll move on for now. Sticking with exit rumours, one of the ones that popped up early in the week was out Tanaka, and there were reports that said the Leeds hadn't ruled out the potential sale of Japanese international Ao Tanaka this summer. And with several Bundesliga 2 sides pushing for promotion to the Bundesliga, there were a few of them that are very, very interested in bringing Ao Tanaka in this summer. Schalke and Hanover were said to be 2 sides that had concrete interest in out Tanaka and had even started to do the groundwork to try and build the foundation for a summer move of the player. However, there is a new report that's come out today, and it suggests that might not actually be the case. According to the report today, Daniel Farke has no desire to sell out Tanaka this summer and has privately tipped the player to play a bigger part this season and in the longer term future for Leeds United. This season, Tanaka's played 21 league appearances for Leeds United, but he's only started 7 games. He's had a big impact in some of the games, and he's one of those players that I personally believe plays better when he has regular minutes and is playing back-to-back matches. But he hasn't had that opportunity an awful lot this season. But according to sources, and always take that with a pinch of salt when you hear that line, Tanaka has put aside any thoughts of a summer exit from the club to concentrate on his future at Leeds United. He's expected to play a bigger part in the run into this season and is expected to play a bigger part in Leeds' longer term future. We'll have to wait and see if that actually materialises and does actually turn out to be the case this summer. But what we should say is Leeds have got games against Burnley and Wolves coming up at home, and Leeds will have to be far more adventurous in those 2 games against sides that will sit in and try and frustrate Leeds United. And having a player like Tanaka on the park for those matches might be a smart move for Leeds. He'll likely start against West Ham United after the international break, assuming he gets back from that fit, healthy and well. And we'll see what position he's in at that point, and fingers crossed he can go into that midfield and give Leeds a little bit more progression in the midfield. He's got a cracking strike on him as well. He's the goal against Chelsea this season already showed that, but he has had some important moments for Leeds. I think he's still a player that could have a big say in what happens with Leeds United this season, and a player I really have a lot of time for and I'd like to see him playing far more minutes than he is right now. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comments on what you think of the current Tanaka situation. Are we mad to let him go? I think we are. You can let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll move on. We'll get into some academy news at this point. We've talked a lot this season about how young the current Leeds United under-21 side is this year, and the fact that Leeds have these stretched goals they have for their more higher ceiling potential young players that they've got, and they like to push them on. And one of those players who has continued to make headlines this season, is now starting to make them on the international stage, is Jake Howard. At 16 years of age, Jake Howard has become an ever-present in the Leeds United backline for the under-21s this season, skipping the 17s and the 18s to go into that side. And he has benefited this season from the experience and the advice that Johnny Howson has been able to give him both on the pitch and from the sidelines this year. Howson has already bigged up Jake Howard this season and talked about he reminds him of a young Jonathan Woodgate and Matt Kilgallen as well, which is high praise for a young player at this stage of his career. Howard has now also represented England at under 17 level and played a big part in their recent win over the Faroe Islands as they kicked off their European Championship campaign this week, and was called out his performance during that match. This is Jake's 4th appearance for the England under 17s, and he has looked right at home in international football, but his performances this season for the Leeds United under 21s have stood out. He is a physical, tall player who's quite comfortable on the ball. He's my type of centre half. He likes to tackle and can play football when he needs to, but he has handled the pressure of playing under 21 level at a very young age, and he's just 16, so that tells you an awful lot. He's come up against some decent players in that Premier League 2 campaign already this year, but he has shown that he has the maturity to handle the level and what's expected of him at Leeds United. And now, development, as we always say, is never a linear path. If he continues to go on the current path that he's on, he could have a very, very bright future at the club. But you never want to put too much pressure on young players. But right now, Jake Howard is making all of the right noise and doing all of the right things, and fingers crossed it continues to go that way for him. Well done, Jake. Let's move on and get into some rumour mill territory. Let's talk about Souffian El Karouani, and the name just isn't going away. Over the past month or so, Souffian El Karouani has been linked with Leeds several times and continues to be linked again this week. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, they claim that Leeds United are the most likely side to make a move for the Moroccan left back once this summer window opens, despite the fact that there will be interest from Everton and West Ham United as well. The interesting fact about El Karouani is he's out of contract this summer and would represent a smart bit of business for Leeds to add the cover and competition at that left back area without having to spend any money on doing that. Gazzetta dello Sport say that Leeds have continued to watch El Karouani at Utrecht this season, and he's registered 16 assists from left back in all competitions this year, and they've labelled Leeds United as strong contenders to try and bring Karouani into the side. This is the 4th time that Souffian El Karouani has been linked with Leeds United in the past few months. This started off The first report that came out from Africa Football is now starting to be picked up by a lot of the mainstream European media as well. It's a name that, of all the names that have been linked with Leeds so far this year, hasn't gone away and continues to just keep popping up. And if you look at Leeds' previous recruitment, he does tick a box of what Leeds like to do: a smart bit of business, get a couple of frees in, and keep the cash then for the bigger players you need to bring into that main 11 that we're going to need next season, those difference makers that Leeds have struggled to get in the last couple of seasons. So it's an interesting one. He is an exciting left back. He is an interesting one to keep an eye on. It would give us what we need from a cover and competition perspective for Gabby Goodmonths in there as well. And it's just one area Leeds need to box off in that defensive area. So you could look across that entire back line and say we're pretty much stacked there. Possible conversations around the goalkeeper in the summer. But then Leeds need to look at more attacking options this summer. The defence has been excellent this year. Leeds have conceded 1 or less goal in 30 of their games so far this season. So not a bad run. So now you just need to add the attacking flair to this side. Folks, that will be it for me today. You can check us out on bigup.com later on today for the watch along for the Ireland-Czech Republic game. We'll have one for England tomorrow as well. You can check that out if you want to. It's bigup.com. It's free. Just pop over there, register. That's it. No ads, no bullshit. You can just join us and watch the matches with us if you want to. Enjoy the rest of your day. Check out okjersey.com as well, and I will see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.